Yeah, just come blow smoke in my face.
That's always fun.
I definitely eat a little too much Taco Bell to be able to call myself a health nut.
So you're a natural Taco Bell eater.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know about Taco Bell until a couple years ago, actually, because we don't really have Taco Bell in Maine.
That's true.
And I was really excited about Taco Bell.
So did you go to like Lobster Bell? Do they have up there? Or?
No, I mean, you know, it's actually funny. We had Red Lobster in Maine for about a week, and then they realized like it was just not the right market to have like a cheap seafood place, you know, on the water, right where you can get like the best lobster in the world.
Yes. So you went to New York as a kid, and then you went back to Maine after you've had success in New York.
Yeah. I went to New York for about 6 months to do this Broadway show, and then I went back to Maine and kind of went back to my normal childhood.
Was that hard to do?
I think it was easier than a lot of people expected it to be. I think certainly, like occasionally somebody would like yell Broadway in the hall because that's what you do when you're in middle school, and I thought like that meant that people hated me, and I think you just perceive any attention at that age as like some kind of negative attention. You're just so insecure, you don't want anybody to even look at you.
Were you interested in being a high school actress, or?
In what sense?
Well, I mean, did you go from Broadway to the high school stage or the junior high school stage? To the middle school stage?
I mean, there was a point where I was sort of kind of involved with the drama program just because for college credit, I thought, you know, you just have to be involved in like school programs, even if, you know, even if they're like not great and people kind of treat you like crap. So, but you know, after a while I was like, oh, I really don't have fun doing this. So I only did it for a little while, or tried to do it for a little while.
So were your parents instrumental in trying to give you a sense of normalcy and amongst all of that? Because you kind of went back dove into it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that my parents ever had to actively try to make my surroundings feel normal. I think they're just, you know, grounded people, and it, you know, made my life feel like it was something real and something ordinary, and yeah, I don't think that they had to really make an effort to make me feel like I was having a normal childhood, because even the parts where I was like on stage and stuff, I was still a normal kid and had normal parents, and
it's a little less insane.
It was like I was doing something out of the ordinary, but you know, everything was still the same.
And stage is a little less insane than the film business and all the.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely a sense when you're on stage, especially as a child, that you're expected to be a professional and you're expected to deliver, and there's something different happens when you're involved in films. They treat you very differently, and I think especially with kids, they sort of have a tendency to tell you that you're special all the time, and I think that I'm really glad that I started from a place where it was like you're expected to deliver, and you're expected to be a pro, and you know, that made me feel like once I got into films and everybody starts kind of coddling you and, you know, telling you that you're special, it's sort of like you can take it with a grain of salt and be like, oh, okay, I see that this is part of what happens in film, and I can just like take that for what it is.
With even more to come, it seems like. It seems like you are the golden child at the moment. Not that you're a child, but everything you touch, it's the Midas touch, I guess, is what we're looking for. Because, you know, between the Twilight series and Up in the Air, it seems like everything you're doing is gaining you major attention and major love.
Well, I certainly don't pretend to be instrumental in the, you know, success of the Twilight saga. I'm really glad that people seem to enjoy my little silly parts of it and feel like that, you know, I help provide some form of comic relief, but you know, I'm certainly not like I'm certainly not going to pretend to say like that I had a hand in the success of that film.
Well, do you feel the cult status of all that around you, or?
Yeah, to a degree. I mean,
I'm sure you can't walk through Westwood right now.
Well, not last night, no. But I mean, I feel like I have like 60,000 people following me on Twitter, and I know that is mostly attributed to the success of Twilight.
Right.
But again, like I just sort of feel like I'm part of the ride, and you know, a lot of the parts of my life have remained really normal, and yeah, I don't feel like I'm hounded by any means.
Are you a big Twitterer?
feel like I should say stuff.
Are you a
and
Facebooker, or I mean, are
I'm
you
not
into
on
any of that
Facebook.
stuff?
I'm not on MySpace. I got on Twitter because somebody was pretending to be me on Twitter, and like
Right.
then like a movie blog picked up on what I was saying on Twitter, and I was like, that's not me. So I got on there just to like at least have a measure of control over what's put out there.
Defensive Twittering.
Yeah, I know it's silly, and I try to like Twitter at least once a week. If like a week goes by and I haven't tweeted anything, I try to think of something to say.
I like that somebody as young as you is still as confounded by this as the rest of us.
Well, I don't know. I feel like really silly about it, I guess. I certainly understand it. And like I'm following some film blogs, I'm following Roger Ebert, and that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I certainly get why people want to feel connected to, people that they admire. I guess the thing that I can't get my brain around is the idea that people would want to follow me and like hear the ridiculous things that I have to say.
So do you network socially just by using the phone? Is that your primary tool?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's very old-fashioned.
I'm even more old-fashioned. I prefer in person. I don't even like talking
Actual
on the
human
phone.
contact?
I know, it's weird. I like to
Oh.
like look people in the eyes and have real conversations. But yeah, I've tried to kind of embrace the Twitter world and the web interaction thing.
So you're actually kind of the opposite of your character, at least initially, and up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, I think Natalie's approach to that, I think, has less to do with technology and kind of techno-geekery than it does with just efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like she sees a problem and she sees the easiest solution with really very little regard to how that is going to affect the people that she's dealing with, as opposed to what's going to make this business run faster and, for less money.
So when your agent, who I assume is the one who gave you the script in the first place, says, okay, here's this script, and it's a 3-person movie, basically, and a lot of great side characters, but basically a 3-person show, and George Clooney is one of those people, does your hair start falling out immediately? Do you scream?
I mean, of course, the thing is, when I started reading it, it didn't really come with the claim of being a 3-person movie, and I kept reading it waiting for this character to disappear. Mm-hmm. I knew from the get-go that she did not have a romantic relationship with George Clooney or with any other character, and I just kept waiting for her to kind of disappear from the script, because so often young women in films only serve the purpose of falling in love with a male character. Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't believe like how much she got to do and the journey that she got to take, and that was the really exciting part.
And it is actually, in most Hollywood movies, the George Clooney age actor is with a girl your age, not with Vera's, like age-appropriate romantic interest.
Yeah, no, I can't tell you how many people, when I told them about it, asked if I kissed George Clooney or if I, was George Clooney's girlfriend in the movie, and I was like, no, he's got an age-appropriate girlfriend. So I say age-appropriate. Vera's still like 10 years younger than he is.
Well, in Hollywood, that's extremely age-appropriate.
I know.
So do you read the script and go, oh my God, I'm like exactly got this character, I know what I'm doing right away, or are you figuring out if you go through the process?
I guess, I thought I had an idea of who she was, and I, certainly hoped I had an idea of how to make that real, and I went in and I kind of gave it my best, and I really thought like I blew it, and I was just not what Jason was looking for. Mm-hmm. And I guess he told me later that he was like trying to not show any enthusiasm because he'd had me in mind this whole time, and like he didn't want to psych me out mm-hmm. by basically sitting me down and being like, so I wrote this for you, it's yours to lose. And so I didn't know any of that until we had lunch after I was cast, and mm-hmm. I was trying to act really cool about it. Like, that totally made sense to me that Jason Reitman would write a role for me in a George Clooney movie.
Well, pretty much a given.
Yeah, that stuff happens all the time.
So the character was made to fit you like a glove. Did you feel like it fit that easily, or was there a lot of process in trying to figure out how to find that?
I mean, I certainly relate to how badly she wants to be in control, and how uncomfortable she feels when she's not in control. We react in different ways. Mm-hmm. We sort of see her just become more rigid and more self-aware, mm-hmm. and I think I just sort of fall apart a little more than she does. Mm-hmm. But there are aspects of her personality that I don't get to explore that maybe I would like to. She certainly says what's on her mind more often than I do.